this video, we're going to talk about how to divide decimals. First thing I want to point out is a very important note on the side of the board. The divisor must be a whole number. Remember, the divisor is what's on the outside. If it's not, you're going to move the decimal to the right until it is a whole number. And if you do something out here, you have to also do it under here. So if you move the decimal in the divisor, you also have to move it in the dividend. So let's look at what I'm talking about. So in this one, our divisor is not a whole number, it's a decimal. So I'm going to move this decimal 2 places to the right. Since I moved this decimal, I'm going to move the decimal in this dividend. Well, currently, we don't see a decimal. It has an implied decimal. So I'm going to add a decimal here. I'm going to move it over 2 places. 0, 0. Okay. Now I'm ready to divide. Notice my divisor is also negative. There's no negative here. A negative and a positive, we know our answer is going to be negative. So now we're ready to divide. So we have 525. I can even rewrite this if you think it's easier. Okay, I have negative 525 into 6,300. So 525 goes into 630 one time, minus 525. That's going to give you, what, 105. We're going to bring down the 0. And 525 will go into 1,050 2 times. Should go in exactly 2 times. And then we'll do 0. And now this was negative, this was positive, so our answer should be negative 12. And remember, we moved this decimal over 2 places, so our decimal would technically be here, but since it's at the end of a number, you don't actually have to write it. So to recap what I did, I moved my decimal 2 places out of my divisor. I had to move my decimal over 2 places out of my dividend, and then I just divided as usual. Okay, let's do one more example. 3/10 or 0.3 into 251.43. So I'm going to move my decimal over 1 place here. I'm going to move it over 1 place here. It is okay if you still have a decimal in your dividend. It is not okay if you have a decimal in your divisor. I'm going to go ahead and move this straight up. My decimal is going to be right there in my answer. So now I can start dividing. 3 goes into 25 8 times, minus 24, leaves me with 1, bring down a 1. 3 goes into 11, 3 times, minus 9, gives me 2, bring down my 4. 3 goes into 24 8 times, minus 24, 0, bring down that last 3. 3 goes into 3 1 time. So I find out that 0.3 goes into 253.43, 838.1 times. Now you have one more example in your notes. Please do that for class tomorrow.